Chapter 1. Inkei's room was something she normally never let it be. Messy. But today wasn't a normal day for Inkei. Today, everything was going to change. Inkei had left her entire life in Mongolia. Never once, in her 21 years, had she left her small town. But today, she wasn't just leaving her town. She was leaving the country. Inkei frantically flung clothes into her suitcase, taking nervous glances at the clock, knowing she was already running late. The smell of her mother's cooking made her mouth and stomach grumble as she packed. Great! Now she was stressed out and hungry. What a perfect combination! Her eyes darted around the room and a look of worry came over her face. "Mummy! Where are my shoes?" Inkei called out. "Have you seen them?" Inkei's mother entered, wiping her hand on a towel, and motioned to Inkei's desk with a nod. "They're right there, under your desk," her mother replied. Mothers seem to have a superpower when it comes to knowing where their kids' shoes are. Inkei's mother frowned, however, as her daughter bent down to retrieve a pair of high heels from under the desk. "Why are you wearing those? You should wear your comfortable shoes." "It's fine, Mom," Inkei said, grabbing the shoes. "I want to look professional. I can always get new shoes when I get to Australia." "Oh, speaking of..." Inkei pulled out a second pair of shoes from under her desk. A brand new, beautiful, and expensive pair for her friend Daria from her parents. It was their graduation present to Daria, one that Inkei promised to deliver in person. As Inkei carefully packed her friend's shoes into her suitcase, she saw her mother watching her with the glint of something in her eye. A bit of sadness mixed with pride. Inkei looked away, knowing that if she stared too long, she'd just start crying too. Today is a day to be happy, to be excited. However, she knew it was also a day to be thankful. Inkei braved the tears, walked over to her mother, and took her by the hands. "Mom, I just want you to know how thankful I am to you and Dad. I know how hard you both worked and how much you sacrificed so I could do this, so I could go to school in Australia," Inkei said, smiling at her mother. "I know you even had to take out a loan from the bank, but I promise I will pay you back, trust me. I will not disappoint you. I will make you proud. You don't have to worry about the small stuff anymore like my shoes. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine." "I know, my darling," Inkei's mother whispered as she squeezed her daughter's hands. "I just worry about you going so far away, and I wish we had been able to save up more money to give you for school." Inkei smiled at her mother and shook her head. "You've given me more than enough. I have you, I have my healthy, and so there's nothing to worry about," Inkei said, and wiped a tear away from her mother's face. "I'm going to study hard, and I'll get a job. I'll work hard. You don't need to worry, I promise." "I'm a mother. Worrying is what we do," Inkei's mother said, with just the hint of a smile. "Where's Father?" "He's outside smoking," Inkei's mother sighed. "He's worried about you too, but he's also so proud." "If we don't leave soon, we'll be late." Inkei's father's deep voice suddenly filled the house. "He's also impatient," Inkei's mother said, and they both laughed. "Let's get your bags into the car." A short time later, Inkei was watching out the window of her father's beat-up old car as he drove through the town and down the highway. She watched trees, animals, people, and buildings all whirl by. Her nerves had switched to utter excitement, and she could barely sit still. She couldn't believe the day had finally come. A new chapter of her life was about to begin. "How long until we're there, Father?" she asked. "About 10 minutes," her father said, glancing at her with the same look of pride and sadness her mother had given her. He cleared his throat before continuing. "I trust you, my son. You are the greatest gift life has given me." "I love you, Father," Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Inke said and smiled at him, but her smile faded as she studied him. For the first time, Inke noticed how tired her father looked. She touched his shoulder and said, "And stop working so hard. Once I get there, I'll get a job and send money back to help cover the loan and the bills. You don't need to worry about me." Inke's father just shook his head. "No, my son. I don't want you worrying about money or the loan. You can pay us back by studying hard and getting the best education." "I will," Inke said as they approached the airport. "I promise." Inke was already running late, so as soon as the car pulled up outside the airport, she gave quick hugs to her parents, grabbed her suitcase and ran inside, not turning back. If she had, she would have seen the tears in her father's eyes. For the first few minutes inside the airport, Inke was frozen in wonder. She'd never been to an airport before, and she had never seen so many people. She could have spent all day there, just listening to people and watching the planes land and take off. But then her flight was called. It was time. Before boarding the plane, Inke took one more look back at the country of her birth and whispered, "Goodbye. And thanks."